Welcome back, everybody. It's Rudy, Alpha Investments. What the heck is this? What is this? What is this siege storm? So today we're going to talk about once every 30 to 60 days we throw in a weird video of board games. This is kind of a board game, more of a card game. So I thought it was quite an interesting little different type of card game. I know a couple months ago we did a similar video where we had talked about, remember what it was? Anybody? Nemesis. Remember that? So today we're going to talk about this is a different type of board game / card game. No, it's not a CCG, not random booster packs, anything like that. We're going to see what the heck it is and check out. We always like to evaluate the quality of the product, the quality of the card stock, condition of the printing, and of course the actual game itself, and see what it is. So I don't know. Let's have some fun, shall we? I know. So this is the actual shipping box it comes in, everybody. And Awakened Realms, same companies I did the other one before. No, I'm not sponsored by them. No, they didn't pay me any money. They pretty much, I just think they have really cool Kickstarter. These are all old Kickstarter stuff. This is old news. This is from like a year or two ago. Nothing new and exciting. So this is the package. It actually comes in the best card game ever. Smiley face. That's cute. So let's take a look at what the heck it is. So this is what it looks like if you were actually part of it. Let me move the camera up a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more. How's that? There you go. All right, so they give you a nice little special things here. A note of it all from the gentleman who creates it. Important note, damaged SI white boxes, yeah. Missing parts or anything. Okay. So, it looks like you have yourself the board game. It looks like they did some, they hit some stretch goals in the old Kickstarter there. Looks like they made a nice little art book. You got some expansion cards. Looks like a nice little PvP. I'm assuming it's a player versus player. A little supplement package on one-on-one stuff. And looks like a little promo pack. Goblin. Look at the dollar signs on his eyes, his glasses. That's kind of funny. All right. Interesting. Nice rounded corners there. All right. So obviously you have the art book on here. Let's take a look here. I always like to flip the art books because, man, it's just some of the artists and the renderings and the work they put into it. Oh, my God. It's just... the work that and the ability, the skill set of some of these artists, I'm just like, dude, I wish I have no ability. I have no art ability. So, it's pretty cool. Beautiful young ladies. And creepy monster person over here. And what else we got here? Whoa, boy, they really have some detailed art in this little thing. Alright. So, this is the actual board game. I'm assuming the Kickstarter was pretty successful, because when I follow some of these Kickstarters online in the past, some of these things are crazy successful. So you have wild... I'm assuming these are little expansion packs, kind of from the stretch goals and what they did. Shade Players and Wild Fairies. Okay. What is this? Frost Giants. Alright, I guess it's... I think we should probably open some of these. And then the... look at this PvP. Look at this brick! That's pretty cool. Huh. Wow, the qualities. I'm going to open some of these. Without damaging it, of course. See if we can just... let me actually see. I want to see what, like, the card stock. And then I'll do some, This is my unopened one. Let's move this box out of the way. All right, let's see here. How does this say? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is really good quality. Holy smokes. It's like a textured, thicker cardboard. Wow. That's really impressive. And, okay, so these are just all the, I guess, different types of cards for the PvP mode. So I'm assuming there's no, these are all going to be the same in everybody's box. There's no randomization is what I would assume. And, okay. Huh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's look at some of these single, let's look at the board game first, actually. Take a look at what's going on here. I'm always fascinated by these people who try to make these very complex board games to really try to take on the industry, because there's so many board games nowadays, and the complexity of the board games is really wild. We're not going to go through the rules. I'm not going to teach you guys how to play. I'm going to do a little unboxing here. I want to check it out. Then I'm going to do a little sample layout of everything, just so everybody gets an idea. I obviously have not punched or done anything on this, because this is going to be a multi-part video where I just kind of show all this. Then I'm going to play this for a couple weeks, then I'll do the last part, and I'll show you guys like a demo play there, and that's going to be about it. Pretty cool. I like the thick quality of everything. Alright, what do we got down here? We got some more... see, there's so many just different packs and variants of the cards. Is this the same as the one? No, these are... okay, I thought those were the same at first. Okay. There's so many variants and just different... breaking news fantasy. Are these... love the artwork. Okay. Let's see here. What are these? Are these like player PC? I'll have to, when I do the last part on this, you guys will see a nice little demo version of all this. These are just generic. Oh, these look like they line up to something on the board. Like these look like the actual board piece. Yeah, these look like some player spec cards. Or yeah, boss card, different levels. You probably put a little token or something there. Looks like phases of a turn to help you out. And boss version on the back there. Okay. Are these all the same? Okay, so this looks like help you out with the board layout. That's interesting. Front land, okay, so yeah, so it looks like each player sits across from each other, no man's land in the middle. And then looks like you get a couple of these. What's the back? Oops, sorry, camera glitch. So this looks like a back piece. No man's land, front land. So you get I guess you get a couple of these. I'm assuming you line them up, or depending on how many players you're playing with. I love the quality though. Wow, man, they really make. That is something I always look at board games, how thin they make the cardboard. And it looks like little pivoting joints there or something for a spinner. Looks like you get a little coin with it, some sort of that's pretty neat, some sort of flip coin or something. So maybe if, who goes first, or heads or tails, or maybe like when you do combat or something. And then, golly, a lot of cards, a lot more than I actually expected here. And they all have the different backs, so I'm assuming. Okay, this one even tells you what the different mechanics of the different attributes and the abilities of the cards. Looks like different creatures and cards there. Wow, a lot more. I did not expect to have this many cards. Wow. The Great Deceiver. Boy, I love the risque, more dramatic. Very, the artwork and the purples and the colors are very beautiful. So definitely going to do some research here, and then we'll get back to you guys. And we'll open these things up. Let's go ahead and open up some of these things. I want to feel the card stock before we get into the final part of this. Man, I can't get this thing open. Holy crap. I don't want to cut it or anything. Alright, getting out Rudy's tool. I don't want to damage the cards. I can't use a box cutter on these things. I don't want to, there we go. Alright, let me actually see. I want to feel these things. Oh, wow. Very nice. Okay, very nice card stock. Okay, a little... I was going to say a little thinner than I would like. About the same texture of thickness as a Magic card, I would assume. So, about the same as I would expect. Soul Destroyer. Toxic Crusader. Ghost of Shambhala. Superior Centaur. Alright, very cool. Yeah, the card, God, the quality of these things are very nice. Very smooth. Wow, that is really nice. Okay. So now that you guys have seen what's going on, I've seen what's going on, we understand kind of it. Let me end the video there. Then we're going to come back after a couple weeks when I play some games of this thing with a couple people and get a good feel for it. And then we'll do the final part, and I'll tell you guys what I think. Well, I know it feels like an instant for you guys, but it's been a couple weeks. And I have to admit, after playing quite a few of these little test rounds and everything, I have to admit the first thing I think I like the best for this format of game of Siege Storm is probably going to be the actual Siege mode game type. Now, I'm not going to do a how-to. I just want to kind of give you guys a premises of my little review here. So first thing, after looking at all the different decks, you kind of have your player, the different type of decks you build here. Some of these, as you can see, I never even opened some of these type of decks. There's a couple of them I didn't use. Looks like some sort of underworld deck. You got this one. I thought, well, this was the next one I was going to mess with. I thought that was kind of a neat steampunk type gears, and I really like that look. But then, of course, you have this nice little angel style deck. Of course, the name of it is right there, the Seraphia. And but of course, it has all the different angels. The artwork and the style of it is very intricate, very good artists and work done. It reminds me of a lot of kind of a Hearthstone kind of artwork style, a little more cartoony feel. The women, the curves, the lines are a little more anime style. It's neat. They're very well drawn and very good details. I have to admit, more so than that angel style, I actually liked this one more, the Styxia. I actually liked this deck. This was kind of, I love the zombie style thing. Had a lot of neat little fire elemental. Had some nice elements kind of that I liked from Magic. And the Blood Shaman, some goblins, some banshees, summoners. You got some of your magicians, warlocks, and you got, of course, the beautiful succubus, demons, and lesser demons as the berserkers, imps, and you know, I kind of liked the feel of this style. Was probably my favorite out of all of them. The Necromancer, love it. The Abyssal Empress, very blood golem. And of course, I thought this was kind of the thing that I really liked the most. This was kind of my theme, and a little tells you what some of the mechanics and things mean and the name of it. So I guess the first thing I wanted to point out was, so you kind of shuffle these things together. You kind of make your own 34 card deck. The green is kind of for the intro, the entry level stuff. So if you're going to shuffle and use these type of cards, use 34 cards that actually have the basic green logo there versus the more expansion customizable cards like the white one there. I have them shuffled up and you can see some of the different logos there where you can kind of start tweaking your own deck. So that's the first thing I recommend, is if anyone wants to try that, do that. As far as these other little, I call them the boss decks, you have kind of these enemy decks where you kind of make your own thing. You kind of have two types. You have your kind of like what I call the core basic, which has that gray symbol. Then you got the advanced, which has the gold symbol. So you've got your goblin deck here, evil goblin deck technically. And of course you have 3 different boss cards. So for example, let's just choose the medium. Let's not make it too hard. So let's take this medium boss card. So we will take this, and you have like a boss area. It kind of has a nice little template, a little, this is the boss counter, his life points kind of thing. So we're going to kind of pick that one here in a second. So you kind of take, and it tells you what to do. The more you kind of figure it out and play some of these games, these has a certain type of back. So for example, if we're going to do this evil goblin as our boss, this is a solo play, by the way. In Siege mode, this is a solo play. You can do co-op with other people, but if you're going to do it by yourself, you're just going to play with yourself, kind of have a little fun action. You take your boss card and you flip it over for game setup, and we're going to play one person. So it pretty much just kind of tells you he's going to start on Skull, which is a menace level of 2, which is a very interesting little attribute over here, how you kind of start at a certain point and how it kind of affects different things between card quantities and strength of the casting, and very interesting. Anyways, so then you have the gray and the gold, like I taught you, the gold and of course the gray. So if we're going to have this medium boss right here, goblin dude, we're going to pretty much have 11 cards from this deck and 11 cards from the gold. So you pretty much take 11 random cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Was that actually 11? Yeah, that was 11. Okay. And then you're going to take pretty much, you can either choose 11 cards from this advanced gold deck, from this, looks like a Berserker Shaman deck. Oh, there's Spectral Shamans. Or you can take 11 cards from this Undead Realms. Ooh, I don't know, let's just take the Shaman. I'm already holding it. So you can take 11 random cards of these. So again, you would 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And you would do the same thing. So pretty much what you would end up doing is you kind of custom make your own deck with these kind of cards. So now that you have that, you kind of shuffle these things together, and this is kind of your boss deck. So some of the things I thought was interesting was this game was definitely nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. Now that's nice and mixed up, because I thought it was fascinating that you could take, there's so much replayability and variance to the game. How you can choose to start off with like this medium goblin boss. It shows 3 is how many cards he would draw each turn, and it pretty much the victory conditions and what the effects of that menace level sliding thing does. In the back, of course, tells you how to set everything up. 25 life points on the counter. And by the way, can we talk about that for a second? This was surprisingly impressive. For just kind of a little cardboard thing, this really kind of was a very nice touch. So for example, you would start this at 25 life points, I call it, for the boss. Pretty much what you got to do to kill the guy. So that was interesting, and the game is a lot more complex and challenging than I thought it would be. I thought like once you got good at it, it would be kind of a boring, simplistic game, but it really wasn't. So after you set it up, you kind of do that. You kind of set everything up for you. You kind of set up your little area there. You got your little board. You got your life points you can put up there. Sorry if you guys can't see that, way up there. And then you can set up your kind of your front line, your no-mans, and of course you have the extra cards. So when you have that, I think the thing was, what really got my attention was when you actually play the game and like the boss draws his couple cards. Let's say he gets his 2. At first he draws, what's this guy drawing? Once you play, you turn the card over. He's drawing, so if he's got 3, for example. So let's just say you got 3, and the way you kind of move these actions, let's say a goblin guy, let's say he's heading on the track here. So I thought it was interesting how the goblins kind of come down this track each turn. And then with your deck, like if I'm playing my zombie deck over here, I thought it was interesting how my goblins would come, or my zombies would kind of come up the track. And then, of course, eventually they pop off and you can kind of have different effects then. I thought that was a very interesting concept of how these cards kind of go at each other on these tracks. And then, of course, you have some spells and different things that can affect the movement and push it further, slower, destroy them, attack. And it's very similar. Like, if you look at these cards, besides special abilities, you have your active, of course, your passive things, kind of secondary things where you can pay extra cost. And again, by the way, this big thing in the corner, there's a lot of similarities to other card games. The big circle in the corner is pretty much your casting costs. You don't tap mana like Magic the Gathering. You discard cards. So this one, you discard 0. To play this summoner, you'd have to discard 2 cards type thing. And of course, very similar like many card games, you have kind of an attack and defense. Very simple, normal layout. I think where this game really shines is going to be kind of the setup of this. I think this is kind of the area where this siege mode really shines. The fact that you have different bosses, and then you can choose different difficulties. Like if you convert this over to a hard, like very hard mode, look at that. I mean, look at the card draw 5. Look at the difference on the medium setup versus the very hard. Look at the life points, so 25, 35. Instead of 11 cards and 11, it's 20, 20. So, and again, and you pretty much have 2 win conditions. You got to pretty much kill all the life points of the boss, which if he starts at 35, that's going to be a lot of points. Or B, you got to burn out their whole deck. And in the meantime, you've got this sliding little menace scale that affects pretty much how strong the artificial intelligence, the AI, your boss if you're playing by yourself, how strong the power level of the card they can cast is. Like you can't play this power level of 4 unless the menace level is at least 4. And this can move up and down. So I thought that sliding indicator was an interesting little variable. But the fact that it gets so many different decks and you kind of shuffle. Like I told you guys, the thing that really caught my attention was on these type of decks was how you pretty much have a base deck and an advance, and you kind of shuffle, so you can mix different type of boss decks with expansions, and it can create a lot of different variants in gameplay. So this game, in my opinion, was a lot more complicated than I thought. It took me a lot longer to fully understand the game than I thought, and it definitely was not nearly as easy as I expected. And even once you're good at it, it just does not become a simple game of just running up the track, pumping these cards through, and you win the game in 5 minutes, even if you're playing by yourself, and of course co-op with multiple people. So if you guys think it's something interesting, I'm not a big board game guy. I've been trying to venture out on some new things, so I liked it. Again, this video is not sponsored. They did not pay me any money. Just a different video for everyone to enjoy today. That's about it.